Good morning and welcome to the show. This is In Touch, and I am Beth Christie, your hostess. In Touch is our weekly half-hour public affairs show. So at the end of the program today, if you are a member of a nonprofit group or organization here in the Hudson Valley, if you are a company or a business here in the Hudson Valley that is helping a nonprofit group or organization, we'd love to have you on the program, talk about what is important to you. So I'll give you the myriad of ways of which you can get a hold of me coming up. So we turn a microphone on and we welcome, she's back, which is very cool. Christina and I were talking. I think it's very cool that we talk about this great organization more than just once a year. So Christina Borick is here, Executive Director of Rebuilding Together, Dutchess County. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me back. Really appreciate it.
I think it's very cool, and I also think it's really important that you're here more than once a year, because the last time you were here, you were about to, I think it was April 26th.
I think it was the day
there.
was April 26th, so we were here right before that.
Right before that. And, you know, we talk about the fact that, and as we're going to talk about today, homeowners in Dutchess County in the Hudson Valley, you know, and the criteria, people that find themselves having some difficulty, the amazing volunteers you guys have, the work that you're doing in the community, helping people stay in their homes. When we talk about it right before the event, sometimes it's a lot, because you're right before the event and maybe a deadline was passed and someone didn't know the deadline. So I think this is very cool that you're here and we can let everybody know. So when we talk about rebuilding together Dutchess County, what are we talking about? Just kind of a basic overview.
We're talking about an organization based here in Dutchess County. We've been here for over 20 years. We are an affiliate network, so there's 187 of us across the country, but our affiliate serves Dutchess County homeowners, and we provide critical home repairs, accessibility modifications, and energy efficiency upgrades to low-income homeowners at no cost to them.
Which is tremendous, which is an understatement.
That no cost to them part is really, really important. Our homeowners are really struggling to maintain their home. And so, you know, asking them to assist us financially to do the work would just really be out of the realm of possibility for them. Most of these individuals are struggling to, you know, put food on the table, pay for medicine, you know, just maintaining their home. You know, having a home is really the American dream, but it can be a burden if you become in a different financial situation as you get older, and it's more difficult to do things on your own that maybe you could have done all your life, and now you're kind of faced with either hiring somebody to do that or not having it done. And when you don't have the financial capability to hire somebody, you just have that deferred maintenance that keeps rolling over and over each year, which then can really become, you know, turn into a real issue within the home. So the repairs that we provide are to bring the home back to a warm, safe, dry, and independent living environment. So warm is, you know, those energy efficiency upgrades we were talking about. You have aging windows and doors. How is your furnace system behaving? Hot water heaters, what kind of energy is that taking? Is that really efficient? Those types of things. Dry, obviously, we know here in the Northeast, our roofs get a beating with the weather that we receive. So anything to properly remove moisture from the home, whether it's a leaky roof, gutters that aren't functioning properly, do you have plumbing issues within the home? Do you not have proper ventilation? You know, just simple things like a ventilation in the bathroom. We don't want too much moisture in the home, because we all know what that can lead to, right? You have mold issues. There are so many people in this country living with allergies and asthma due to the environment within their home. And so really making that breathing environment something that's more healthy for the homeowner. So as far as that, as well as safe, you know, so we get into kind of a lot of these overlap, right? So safe is also being healthy. If you are asthmatic, you know, what are those triggers within your home? Do you have an old carpet? You would be surprised how much of a difference that can make. In your home.
I never thought of that.
Removing the carpet, replacing it with some kind of hard surface is much better. But then other safety issues may be electrical issues. You know, we were talking before we started about Don Veith and Veith Electric and his partnership with us. And that is a huge safety hazard, especially in our aging homes that may have old electrical systems that need upgrades.
And, you know, and I got to tell you, too, when my husband and I bought our home, and it was built in 1954. And we had an issue in the middle of the night. We're here a wire behind our bed.
Oh my goodness.
He did. My husband went down. It looked like the electricity was out. Went to the fuse box, and we flipped, and there was this hum. And I'm like, "You got to turn it off. You have to turn it off."
Dangerous.
So we actually, just so everyone knows, called Don Veith. He is our electrician, and I was scared to death. I mean, I was just that just will cause a worry and a stress, even though you know it's off. You're not really sure. It's it's just something you don't mess with. And he came out and gave peace of mind. But here's the interesting thing: the folks that have been in the house before us, the wiring was what was in the house at the beginning.
Okay.
Wiring that's been there that long is not equipped to handle all that we now ask of it to do.
Right.
And if you've got too many air conditioners on a line, or you've got even the flat screens, if you've got computers, if it's just not, it just cannot handle it. And I am saying this because if there's anybody listening who finds themselves in this situation and you're scared and you're worried and you cannot afford it, then that, if you could just do yourself that one thing to call and find out if you're home, if you would qualify, you would sleep so much better, because I know that we did.
Right. And that's one of the wonderful side effects of what we do, that we get to see the worry kind of peel away from these homeowners after we're able to do this work. I can't tell you the number of homes that we go into that have extension cords just skewed all over the house. It's so dangerous. And you bring up a good point about how much more of a demand we have on our homes. And you think about the housing stock in Dutchess County really is an aging housing stock. For the majority of the homes were built, before 1940, 1960, that time. So those homes are, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. A lot of our homeowners have lived in those homes the majority of their lives.
Yes.
And we take so much pride out of allowing them to stay in that home and live safely and healthy in that home for the rest of their lives, and remove that worry, as you talk about, because it is so important. Who wants to live thinking about,
it's tiring, it's draining. And and these folks worked hard. They bought the house. They raised their kids.
Right.
This is their neighborhood.
They're an integral part of their community.
That's right. I mean, and they've worked hard. So if we as citizens of our communities can help out, either if you have a business, and I know you're going to talk about that, and how you can volunteer, and how as an individual you can volunteer. I mean, you really do give a gift. You really, this I think is an amazing gift, because like you said, the worry goes away. Someone feels safe, and not just the people in the home, but their families, their children.
Right.
They
don't worry about that.
They go, okay, mom and dad, right now, this is good. Because maybe the family can't help them out either. And that's understandable too.
Exactly. And, there's so many people, and I'm sure some of your listeners are thinking this right now, that this is not for me. There are so many other people that are more deserving, or maybe need the help more than me. We want to target those individuals who've been in their homes, who are struggling. You'd be surprised in the income qualifications. A lot of people think that they would not qualify from an income level. It's based on the county median income level for the household. It's 80% of the county median or below, and it's based on the number of people that live in the home. So it may be for you. And we encourage you to reach out, especially, as you said, Beth, if people are really worried about their home and are afraid that they're eventually not going to be able to stay in it because they've had to defer this. And, even if their children are nearby, if their parents are elderly, like you said, they may not have the ability to help them. That's okay.
And that's okay, because everyone is doing the best that they can.
Right.
And I think we all wish we could do more, but at the end of the day, you do the best you can. And it's great that Rebuilding Together Dutchess County is here. It's worth a phone call to find out, to get information. It's worth that call.
Right. And we're so happy that now we have, so if any of your listeners were familiar with us before, about our application process used to be a finite period of time, and we've changed that so that it's the rolling application cycle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
So you can apply any time of year. certainly there are cutoffs in order to be considered for our next rebuilding day. So as you know, but I'll remind your listeners, we do 2 major rebuilding days a year in April and October, and we're going to talk a little bit later about our successes from April. And then we have a handyman program, which is smaller repairs. But for those major repair days, there is a cutoff. So for example, now the applications that we're taking now would be considered for next year's April project. So we've already had our cutoff for fall rebuilding day. We need about 6 months from when you apply to qualify you to go out and see your home, to do the inspection of the home and really do our whole house selection process, and then matching selected homes with our wonderful volunteers, as you had mentioned before, our skilled contractors, as well as sponsors. And so for right now, through the end of October, if individuals apply now through the end of October, they would be considered for our April Rebuild Day, which is our National Rebuilding Day. But right now, so we're reviewing all the applicants that we've gotten through the end of May that will be considered for Fall Rebuilding Day, which is October 25th.
So you guys are
it's
constantly in this process.
It's a year-round thing, and some of your listeners may remember Christmas in April.
Yeah.
Okay. We're the same organization. We just changed our name because Christmas in April was our founding was around that April Rebuilding Day. And that was Christmas in April. As we grew, as the affiliate network grew, as the need grew, we started to do more programs throughout the year. And so we've expanded even here in Dutchess County, our Rebuilding Day to 2 days a year, and then introduced our handyman program. And so we felt as a network, rebuilding together, better suited who we are as an organization and what we provide the community.
Yeah.
Same organization, same mission, but just a different name.
Yeah. You know what is amazing is every time I do a show, I learn something. I have to admit, I went, maybe they get a few weeks to breathe after, but no, apparently you don't. Not anymore. Because what I love about any organization that is really getting it done are organizations that look at what's happened in the community. How can they address those needs? The fact that you recognized, you knew the need, you went to 2 days, 2 big days, big projects happen on these 2 days. In addition to having the handyman program, right. To me, if I'm someone in the community and I'm looking to see who's getting it done, where is my time and my money well spent? Those are the things that I look for, that it is an organization that is addressing the needs of the community that we currently live in,
right.
Not the community from 30 years ago.
Exactly.
Because those change and some people don't change with it, and you guys have. So I want to know about April, because April, I remember when we talked about it, as you said, you've got to get the skilled labor, the businesses and partners that are volunteering, as well as volunteers. And I know you were gearing up. Obviously, those are the big projects. So how did April go?
April was amazing. So April is National Rebuilding Day, National Rebuilding Month. The majority of the projects that we do here locally are on National Rebuilding Day, which is the last Saturday in April. But it's really interesting that there are projects going on throughout the country, engaging thousands and thousands of volunteers in that single month. So here in Dutchess County, we did 10 projects in April.
Wow.
9 of them on National Rebuilding Day. We did one prior, just because it needed a real high skill set. We engaged over 200 volunteers.
Wow.
And I am happy to tell you that the value of the work that we did, so when you consider the value of the labor, the materials that we actually purchased, the materials we get donated, nearly $225,000.
Wow.
So that means we're investing more than $20,000 in each home. If it gives you a sense.
That's a great way to break it down, yes.
Of really, this is not just going in and, certainly our handyman program might be, fixing a lock set or maybe putting in a couple grab bars, handrails. For our National Rebuilding Day, these are the projects that after we do our whole house approach, it has a number of items that need to be addressed so that the home is safe and healthy for the homeowner. So we're talking about full roof repairs, replacements, electrical work, as we talked about earlier. We had some homes with some serious electrical problems. We're talking about replacing walkways, stairs that are unsafe, ripping up the carpet and replacing flooring, as we talked about, not just from an allergy standpoint, but also as a tripping hazard for our elderly and disabled.
Yes.
It's really important to have smooth walking surfaces and threshold ramps. So we did some pretty major things on those days. So once you look at the value of everything that kind of poured into that, give you a sense. We spent probably about $24,000 in cash that day for materials. So gives you a sense of how much else went into that to make that day successful. And that's where we really rely on our volunteers, our suppliers in the area that can supply us with in-kind materials, as well as in-kind services. It's a huge part of what we do. And it's the reason why we're able to do the work that we do without charging our homeowners.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
you know what? Just in what you've been talking about, I can see more and more and more and more people that may be on site, people that are not on site, people that are at a business, as you said, in-kind donations. There's a lot of people,
right, and
which is tremendous, and I applaud all of them.
Right. Because it's a staff of 2.5 people that are in the office.
Oh, man.
And, thank goodness our staff is wonderful. Our project coordinator who runs these programs is phenomenal. And if it weren't for those individuals really being kind of the project manager like a construction company would have, I mean, his work is also included in that value because he's really, running 10 separate teams and coordinating, what are they doing, interacting with the homeowners. So really, we're able to accomplish a lot with so little, and it really is truly amazing.
So let me ask you this question: if there is someone listening who wants to volunteer and be on a crew, and there's people listening at different levels. Some people they can pick up a paintbrush, but please don't put a hammer in their hand. I mean, me, of course, by that, and then there's some people who are like power tools. They're living, breathing power tools. They're good to go. What do people need to do? Is it too late for a volunteer to be able to help out in October or get ready for April? How does that work?
Okay, so for a general volunteer, as somebody that you said, maybe put a paintbrush in their hand, really, we bring a lot of our sponsor teams bring the majority of the team to the project.
Okay.
And so we're really looking to supplement those teams with more of a skilled person.
Got it.
Okay. So those individuals certainly are definitely still needed. And we don't have the projects finalized yet, so I can't give you exact. But for the most part, more skilled, we usually can find a spot for them because of their skill level. General volunteers usually come with the team. But if you really want to be on a project and you're a general volunteer, we are looking to incorporate a community-based project once a year, which will allow us to engage more general volunteers. So look for more information about that. We're still finalizing details of what the project will be this year, but that will be an annual project for us from now on. And it'll be like helping a nonprofit center, a housing-related nonprofit center or community center or some base in the community that's related to housing that is struggling as well. And so that we can partner with them to do what we do so well. And then certainly there are so many other ways that volunteers can get involved with our organization that aren't, if being on a project isn't their thing. There are so many other ways, committees, board membership, something as simple as doing some outreach. We actually have an opportunity coming up. We will be at the Dutchess County Fair this year. We have a booth.
Oh, nice.
So we'll be there all days, 19th through the 24th of August. So if you are at the fair, please do stop by and see us. But we are looking for volunteers to help us man our booth. So if that's something that, kind of gets you geared up to talk to people about our mission and what we're able to accomplish, we will provide training before the day, and you'll also get a ticket to the fair. So after you do your volunteer stint, you can go and enjoy the fair.
Right.
So we're looking for individuals to help us, in particular right now with the fair, but we do those kind of events throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So if that's something that, jazzes you up and you like to talk to people about an organization like ours, that's certainly an opportunity as well.
Folks, I'm thinking can also, if they like, I can give some money. Like maybe I can give $20. Maybe I can give 50. Maybe I can give 10. It doesn't matter. How can people,
helps.
Yes. So if understanding now and complete makes sense, if you're on these big projects, you really need to have a certain skill level because you have a day, you're getting them done. You really, you've got to hit the ground. You got to hit the ground running. You guys do a lot of work prep and you're ready to go. So let's say if someone says, well, let me help out. Let me donate something. How can people do that? What's the best way?
So the best way is to go to our website. We have a donate button on our website. Our website's rebuildingtogetherduchess.org. It's rebuildingtogetherduchess.org. And as I mentioned, there's a donate button right on our homepage. It's a great way to give. Certainly another way that individuals can kind of come together and form their own team and kind of fundraise themselves for their own project. We have a lot of faith-based organizations that do this, that will fundraise within their faith-based community and then form a team and come and do their own project. So if you're not, sitting here going, well, I'm not a corporation or I'm not an organization that can really, sponsor a project, you still can get involved. You just need to be a little bit more creative.
Yeah.
And we're here to support you in different ideas on how you may do that and what kind of time frame you would need. But it's definitely been done. Hyde Park United Methodist Church sponsors us every year, brings out a team of 30, 40 people. They've been doing it for like 15 years, and they're phenomenal. They're one of our best teams. They're just so incredibly committed and knowledgeable. They do a lot of mission work, and so a lot of them are really handy.
That's very cool.
So it doesn't have to be a contractor or a Meyer Contracting or Heath Electric. It really can be, a Rotary. Poughkeepsie South Rotary sponsored our project, National Rebuilding Day this year. So it can be faith-based, civic-based organizations. They're phenomenal. They've been great partners of ours.
That's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. I love that. So on the website, rebuildingtogetherduchess.org, folks can also get information about the application or the application themselves?
The application.
Themselves? Is that English? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
I don't know what that was, but you know.
The application is, in fact, on our website.
Thank you.
And it can be printed from there. But if you're just wondering even, do I qualify? You can go and look if you have access to the internet. You certainly can go look, print it out, fill it out. If you don't have access to the internet, give us a call. We'll talk to you over the phone about what the qualifications are. And if you do qualify, we'll send you an application. You can call our office at 845-454-7310. That's 454-7310. We're happy to help you and talk through. And like I said, then mail you the application. So,
because it always seems to me that in the middle part of seasons, i.e. the middle of summer and the middle of winter, tends to be when you discover things in your home that's not working. Whether you discover that drafty window in the wintertime with thunderstorms, maybe that's when you find some leaks that you didn't know were there.
Right.
You need to stay cool. There are many times we will talk on the air about heat advisories and heat warnings. When you mentioned folks who have asthma, not only just making sure the home inside, but a lot of times they say you need to be in an air-conditioned area so that you are able to breathe. So if you're home, this is another thing that I'm thinking about people keeping in mind as we are just really getting into summer, that you can, while it certainly, it may not, and it won't be able to be fixed by the end of the summer, you can take steps so that it will be fixed.
By next summer.
Yes.
Yes. We do recognize that we have a long process, and as we talked about before, we're a small organization when it comes to staff, and we rely heavily on our board, which is phenomenal, by the way, and our volunteers. And so it is more of a lengthy process. We've done a lot of work to shorten that up, as we talked about before. So, 6-month kind of period between once it closes to when you're notified if you are accepted to where you're served. But it is lengthy. So it does take some, planning on your part to actually say, I'm going to apply. I'm going I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to apply and put yourself out there. And I know it's difficult to ask for help, but what's the alternative?
See, and that's what I think. I think, when I say that it would, you could have it by next year, because I think the folks, like you said, who really need the help are thinking there's someone else who needs it more than me.
So often.
I can make do.
Right.
And really, you don't need to make do.
You don't need to.
Take the steps. Take the first steps to find out, to get the information. It will give you peace of mind.
Right.
To me, even making the first step to make the phone call makes you go, okay.
It is. That's the most difficult sometimes.
I'm doing something.
Yep.
I am doing something. My parents have done something. In some cases, it may be a grandparent. Okay, we've got them on the board, so to speak,
right.
and get them to get information to find out, because it's, you wish that you could do a rebuilding day. Probably you would have enough to do every weekend.
I wish I had a waiting list of hundreds of people that I could say.
You would. You could do a big project every weekend.
Because I know the need is there.
It's right. The need is there, but it's just not feasible. So this is why we got to get funding.
Well, the more people that apply that shows the actual need, the easier it is for us to get additional funding.
Yes.
So, it all really starts with the individual saying, I really do need help. I mean, we know statistically, and you mentioned about changing with the changing of times, and we know statistically that the elder, some of our biggest target populations, elderly, disabled, veterans, that every single one of those categories is increasing since we started, has increased tremendously, and the elderly population is projected to be, that growth of that population over the next 30 years is going to just skyrocket.
Yes.
And so, we know that there are people now that are living in their homes that are not safe and healthy, and certainly we know that unfortunately is only going to grow. And so, encouraging people to really take that step to say, I need help. We've helped over 430 homeowners here in Dutchess County over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
We've done this. We are very good at this. I will say we are very good at it. Our homeowners are thrilled with us. Our post-project surveys of our homeowners are phenomenal. And I only toot my own horn to say to your listeners that if you're worried about whether or not volunteers can actually accomplish these goals, they absolutely can.
They can.
They absolutely can.
Yes.
So please don't let that prevent you from calling. And if you need assistance, if you have, a neighbor or a daughter or a son that can help you fill out the application, certainly, list them as an additional contact on your application. If you have difficulty, over the phone hearing, if you list that additional person, we'll call that person.
Yes.
So
there's a lot of ways we can make this work. There's a lot of ways to make this work. And I like how you said, a lot of times people will say, oh, someone else needs it more than me.
Can't tell you how many times I hear that.
No. You deserve, everyone deserves to be in their home, to be safe, to be warm, that they can move around. It's accessible. Right. I love the idea of the handyman program. And we have a minute and a half left. See, I knew this is why you come back more than once a year.
I'm telling you, the handyman program is actually very active right now, and we do not have enough sponsors to do the amount of applicants we have. And that sponsorship is pretty affordable. It's $1,000. So if you're thinking I'm an organization that can maybe have the ability to commit a little bit more, handyman sponsorship, we are in need of $1,000. The benefits of that sponsorship is on our website, or you can give me a call, Christina Borick, at 454-7310, and I'm happy to talk through with you about what that entails.
Yeah, so if there's an organization that, I think of someone who wants to do fundraising, you want to help someone in the community, this would be a nice sponsorship, like you said, even if it's putting rails in to make a bathroom a little bit safer, working on a lock set. Maybe there's a door jamb. The humidity is always beautiful. All of a sudden, there's doors that don't close. Right. They should close.
Right.
Someone can help. Someone, you don't need to suffer with that. And those are the things that you let go and you let go and you let go because you think, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but there's someone who can help you.
And they make a huge impact on your life if you are unsafe going in and out of the
Yep.
shower or tub. Those little
Yes.
things really can make a huge impact. And so that's why that handyman program's
Yes.
there. So don't think, oh, I don't have all of those problems in my home that she was talking about. That's the reason the handyman program's there, to help with those more minor repairs that really can make a huge difference in your
Yeah,
life.
because, having deadbolts and having locks put on your door, that can be up to $300 and some dollars.
It can.
And maybe more. And that money is
Right.
not easy to find.
Right.
So there's a
Right.
program here that can help you out.
Exactly.
Then it's worth a call. The phone number is 845-454-7310.
Correct.
Right? Okay, good. I wrote it down right. Rebuildingtogether.Duchess.org.
Correct.
If anyone is interested in donating, there's a donate button.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get information about the handyman program.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get applications.
Mm-hmm.
And as you mentioned, if someone does not have access to the internet, it's not that easy to do. And we understand there's certainly a population that is the
Right.
case, then give them a call.
Sure.
So, Christina, any closing comments?
Just look for our second fundraising event of the year is our comedy night. It's November 6th this year. We're really excited about that. More details are on our website, or you can give us a call. So we're looking for people to attend, as well as for event sponsors. So if that's something that interests you, please do reach out to us.
Christina, thank you very, very
Thanks
much.
for having me.
So I think you have to come back again.
I would love to.
Okay, we'll
Thank
do it.
you.
Because we've got another day in October coming up.
Yes.
And another
October
deadline.
25th.
Wow. All right, Christina, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you. Hopefully there is something you've learned today that you can take away with that can help you, can help someone you know. If you would like to be on the program, here's how you can get a hold of me. The phone number is 845-471-1500. You can find me on Facebook. You can email me, beth.christie@townsquaremedia.com. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest. I think there's more I'm on. I'm not sure, but just find me. If you're on a social media network, just search. You'll find me. We'd love to have you on the show. Take care of yourself and those you love, and we'll see you right here next week.